Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer, so let's talk about silver. We have the precious appraisal. This article dropped today, August 15th. If you are subscribed to my channel, you're always going to get the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date, recent information in the world of precious metals, more specifically silver, and I post daily. It's like your little daily dose of what's happening in the world of silver right now. So I do highly recommend you subscribe. I'm not going to ask you to like the video yet because you don't even know if you're going to like this video yet. So by the end of the video, if you do think this video is worthy of a like, then please like the video. I always love when you participate in the comment section. This is going to be something great. I have some big announcements coming. I think I put together a great video for you guys and gals today. The link to this PDF will be in the description. So how do precious metals fare in recessions? And by the way, I wanted to bring up this chart just to show what's the difference between a recession versus a depression. Recessions are characterized by a significant decline in economic activity that spans across the economy for a few months, where depressions are much more serious. I mean, depressions are characterized as an extreme recession that lasts 3 or more years or results in a decline in GDP of at least 10%. So you can see the difference between those. I just wanted to give a little context. I know there's a lot of new people in the investing world. I mean, my goal is to bring people into the world of silver that have never invested a single dollar in their entire life. You know, a lot of people that have kind of just been moving through the system that find something new and want to understand why gold and silver is the solution. Well, I guess it's the alternative. There is no solution to this problem. We're way too deep in the hole. We're trying to get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt that's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card. It's going to catch up, and it is catching up. So there's no solution to the problem, but there is an alternative, and that is precious metals. So a recession is not necessarily bad news for gold. Typically, precious metal prices decline during recessions, including gold. In the 1980 recession, the gold price did decline by 6%, but that was partly because it had just reached a record price at the start of 1980, and the Fed had finally pushed interest rates above inflation. However, in subsequent recessions, the gold price has fallen less and recovered more quickly than other metals. The gold price tends to be slightly higher at the end of a recession than at the start. And I mean, precious metals are called safe haven investments because that's what people turn to in economic uncertainty. When there's war or fear and panic, people want to put their money into an alternative of fiat collapsing. It shouldn't just be during a recession. It should be regardless. You know, it's kind of funny how it takes something so extreme to understand, hey, maybe I shouldn't keep my money in a collapsing dollar that's lost 98% of its original purchasing power while we're $30 trillion in debt, still throwing out trillions in the Green New Deal and stimulus and this and that, and then funding, Ukraine. And I'm not saying they shouldn't do that. I'm just saying we're giving out a lot of money that we don't have, and that's going to have a negative impact. Yeah, that $700 stimulus check is nice, but at what cost? Money's got to come from somewhere. So anyways, other metals performed less well. In the 2007 to 2009 recession, precious metal prices peaked after the recession had started until it hit the low points before the recession ended. Rhodium and palladium, being exposed to falling automotive demand, fared poorly, and as did ruthenium. The fact that metals prices were rising in the first few months of the recession is indicative of the difficulty of working out in real time when a recession has started. And that's another good point. I've seen so many different articles saying we're not in a recession yet. We are in a recession. I mean, what's the silver lining? Is it like Groundhog's Day, where if the groundhog pops out of the ground and sees its shadow, that winter goes on for 6 more weeks? I mean, and there really isn't a yes or no answer in the beginning. It kind of just slowly happens. And it even says that right here. It says that recessions are typically recognized many months after they have started. You know, it's not just a yes or no answer. There's a lot of gray area, but you have to see ahead of you have to be 2 steps ahead. You know, like if we look at this, recessions are characterized by a significant decline in economic activity that spans across the economy for a few months. That's that's not an if. That's not a that is true. You have to. Some people just get too literal about things. Are we not in a recession? If we're not, then does that mean that we aren't preparing or planning as if we are? No. I mean, some people just overthink stuff. And that's my opinion. The U.S. may already be in a recession, even if we may be, or if we aren't, or if we are. Regardless of what a yes or no or maybe answer is, we still have to be, investing and preparing as if we are heading into one. And a lot of people, I think, just give too much hope into a broken system. A lot of people don't see videos or watch channels that expose the truth. A lot of people don't even know that we're $30 trillion in debt. A lot of people think that the dollar is strong and that the United States is the wealthiest country, and they don't know that the reality is that the U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency, which is extremely dangerous since the dollar is based off a promise, and people are starting to see that promise isn't very strong. We've actually been lying most of the time. That's why you see a lot of cashless nations appearing, a lot of countries opting out of the U.S. dollar being the world's reserve currency, which is extremely dangerous, especially nowadays with crypto, where you have some countries that are solely crypto now. Bitcoin. There's countries in Africa that Bitcoin is their standard of currency. And a lot of countries, their money is so inflated that they carry their money around in trash bags and weigh their money on scales, because their dollar bill would be like the purchasing power of like 5 cents. So to go to the store and buy, some groceries that's $15, you would have to be handing over thousands upon thousands of dollars. So they literally weigh their money on scales and carry their money in trash bags. That's why you see the Zimbabwe $1 trillion bill, for example. Every fiat-based system has collapsed throughout history. It's designed to fail. As soon as we got rid of the gold standard in 1971, go look at a chart of the dollar's strength and see what happened. As soon as we got rid of the gold standard, it just exploded. It exploded. So, anyways, the U.S. may already be in a recession, despite U.S. GDP contracting for 2 consecutive quarters, which that's how they determine if it's 2 consecutive quarters. In the first half of 2022, which is considered a technical recession, economic forecasters are not predicting a recession in the U.S. owing to the resilience of the employment figures. However, other indicators are less positive. The U.S. Treasury yield curve has inverted, which has been a reliable predictor of previous recessions. Oil price shocks have also led to recessions in the past. Strong jobs report for July was taken as a sign that the economy is robust with high inflation. The Fed will likely continue to raise interest rates. However, more often than not, the Fed raises rates ahead of a recession. So this is I like this article too, because it goes into each metal almost like its own chapter. You can see over here gold, silver is right here, and then platinum, palladium, it goes into rhodium, and then trends and investments. So let's look into silver. I want to look into silver. Precious metals review. So it's looking like showing silver's price right now, which this article was written today, remember? So it's $20.53. That's a 3.38% weekly change. The high was $20.84, and that was of 8/10, so August 10th, which was 5 days ago. And then the low was $19.99, and that was as of the 8th. So I want to see gold real quick. Let's go up here. So gold, its close was $1,795. That's a 1.2% weekly change. Remember how I was saying that silver is like gold on steroids? It hits higher highs and lower lows. If gold's going to rise certain percent, if gold's going to rise 1.2%, silver's going to rise 3.38%. But if gold's going to drop, 5%, silver's going to drop 10%. It's a more exaggerated version, and because it's a much smaller market, that's also why people call silver, the riskier metal. They call it the devil's metal. They call it gold's little brother, gold's little cousin. I call silver gold on steroids. So anyways, let's look at this. silver miners in Latin America are seeing output recover from the impacts that's happening around the world. Pan American Silver, a major primary silver producer with operations in several Latin American countries, has noted its silver production will be at the lower end of guidance, around 19 million ounces, and similar to 2021. The first quarter of 2022 was impacted by the situation reducing employee attendance, but the second quarter saw an improvement and production for the half of the year, which was 9.2 million ounces. And the company's flagship mine, La Colorada in Mexico, ramped up production in the second quarter, which is making up for some falls in output at other operations, which is lower grade areas that are mined. And silver, as obviously, I mean, we've been knowing this is going to happen for the last couple of years now, since the gold to silver ratio was 125 to 1. But silver's been outperforming gold, and it better have been with a ratio that high. It has to it has to correct, it has to recover. And that's for the last month at least. When the silver price hit its low in mid-July, when it briefly touched $18 an ounce, the gold to silver ratio exceeded 93 to 1. But it has now fallen back to 87, which is still extremely out of whack. In today's standards, a normal ratio would be like 75 to 1. Even though that is still extremely out of whack, it should be like 16 to 1. I mean, literally, it should be 8 to 1 because that's the ratio it comes out of the ground. But also remembering that most silver is thrown away, and that ounce of silver that gets dug up out of the ground compared to that ounce of gold that gets dug up out of the ground, the ounce of silver will get thrown away within a couple decades. That ounce of gold is going to stay in circulation for a century plus, because silver is used industrially and gold is used monetarily for coins and jewelry and stuff. So it gets melted back down into more coins and jewelry. Silver's thrown away in laptops and solar panels, and it's thrown away, never to be recovered and recycled. So is that the gold to silver ratio coming out of the ground is actually lower than 8 to 1 when you put that into consideration as well. So anyways, I'm talking about the gold to silver ratio exceeding 93, but it's fallen back down to 87. If dollar strength continues to ease, then the rally can continue and silver could maintain its outperformance of gold. And I don't even think it's just going to be if the dollar continues to ease up. I think it's just going to be silver naturally outplaying gold, since it's much more useful. It's much more useful. It's funny that gold is 93 times more valuable than silver when silver's 93 times more useful. If we're looking at actual use, gold is just kind of sitting around. It is just something that holds value almost because it's shiny. I mean, yes, gold has uses. I've used to scrap gold out of cell phones myself, but gold is mainly just kind of a store of wealth. Silver is the most highly conductive metal for thermal conductivity, electricity, even light sensitivity. I mean, it's used in everything. Back in the day, they saw silver as a magical element. I mean, we're talking about elements on the periodic table. Silver can purify water. It has antimicrobial properties. You drop silver, go drop your American Eagle in some water, it will purify it. It responds to elements like no other metal does. It's the best. You drop silver in milk, keeps the milk fresh longer. There's colloidal silver. I mean, the silver is heavily used in the medical world. It's used for everything. I mean, it's no brainer that silver should be 93 times more valuable than gold, not vice versa. So anyways, yeah, what do you think about this? I'll post a link to this article in the description. If you want to also check out gold, platinum, palladium, or any of these other metals, giving a quick review over. And you can look at this chart. It goes over the gold to silver ratio, interest rates, U.S. inflation, so on and so forth. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Now that you have seen the video, if you think it's worthy of a like, then please like the video. If you think my channel is something you would consider or is worthy of a subscription to, I highly recommend you subscribe. I post daily videos. You're always going to get the newest updates, but I also have some huge announcements coming very soon, which is it's just going to take things up 10 steps, 10 steps higher. I'm always trying to level up And I definitely just hit a big level up, and I'm so excited to announce this with you guys. And just know that big things are coming from this channel. And I hope you're here to enjoy the journey with me. Thank everyone so much. This is the best my channel's been doing ever since 2015, since I started my channel. This is by far the best my channel's been doing. Just view-wise, viewership-wise, subscriber growth-wise. Just the opportunities are falling in my place. My content, I feel, is the best. I'm having the most fun making videos. So yeah, I just can't thank you all enough. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.